Which MBB top consulting firm should you join? The battle of the giants. McKinsey, BCG or Bain? Welcome to the UN Consulting Arena, where I share with you my insider advice on your business and consulting career. The question, which MBB consulting firm you should join, feels almost as old as the consulting industry, and I'm aware that it continues puzzling generations of management consultants, maybe including you. In this video, I will offer you my definite response and, in fact, I will give you two answers to this question, so watch until the end. I've structured this video into three parts. First, some key facts and figures on McKinsey versus BCG versus Bain that you ought to know. Second, my first answer to the question, and third, my second alternative take on the question. If you're stopping by my channel regularly, you will know that I spent 5 years as a consultant and project manager with McKinsey. And if you have already watched my video on how to crack the BCG online case, where I've occasionally mocked McKinsey and BCG over their rivalry, you may ask, am I truly objective? I can assure you, as usual, I aspire to offer the best, honest and truthful career advice to you on this channel, and if you like what's coming, hit those like and subscribe buttons. Let's start with the key facts and figures on McKinsey, BCG and Bain. A quick recap on their history. Among these three top consulting firms, McKinsey is the oldest one. It was founded already in 1926 in the USA. BCG followed 40 years later. It was established by a former FA digital consultant in 1963 and actually bore the more cumbersome name Management and Consulting Division of the Boston Safe Deposit and Trust Company. 10 years later, in 1973, former BCG consultants founded Bain. You may expect that this 40 years head start of McKinsey may have had an impact, and indeed, to this day, McKinsey has managed to retain a pole position with regards to some important KPIs. In terms of company revenue, it is estimated that McKinsey in 2020 earned more than $10 billion. BCG stands at $8.6 billion in 2020 and Bain earned around half of that. This also shows in the number of employees, which includes both consultants as well as support staff members. McKinsey has 31,500 employees, BCG 22,000 and Bain 12,000 employees. What may be more interesting for you personally when deciding on your own career path, all consulting firms have a global presence, where McKinsey has offices in more than 130 cities in 65 plus countries. BCG follows suit with offices in more than 90 cities in 50 countries. Bain has offices in 60 plus cities around 40 countries. Now, let us talk about the reputation of these three top consulting firms. There's a myriad of consulting firm rankings out there. I have brought for you the famous Volt ranking. For its 2021 ranking, Volt has asked more than 16,000 consultants to evaluate how satisfied they are with their employer on a number of dimensions. As you can see, McKinsey comes out on top as the best consulting firm to work for in Asia Pacific and Europe. It ranks third in North America. I have no idea why BCG does not rank among the top 5 in neither Asia Pacific nor Europe, and Bain ranks first in North America. Now, this is more of a short-term view. Prestige and reputation grow over time. And as for the most prestigious firm to work for, where consultants were not allowed to vote for their own employer, you get the common picture across all regions, which also is reported in many other rankings. McKinsey ranks first as the consulting firm with the highest reputation, BCG second and Bain third. The famous triumvirate of the top management consulting world. Now, do we have a clear winner here? Because McKinsey wins in terms of size and reputation? Hang on, let me give you my first answer to the question, McKinsey, BCG or Bain, which top consulting firm should you join? In all honesty, if you have received just one offer from one of these three companies and love consulting, then just take that offer. It does not matter that much whom you work for, because the real differences between these companies are small and they are all great firms to work for and gain experience with. Now you may ask, well, but what about their individual strengths and weaknesses of service and especially their culture and values? Then I tell you, All the three companies aim to serve their clients across the entire consulting service matrix. That is, they provide support to their clients across all different industries and business functions. I do not want to explain the consulting service matrix in more detail in this video, but I have done so here. Of course, one MBB firm may have some more business in one area than another, but I would argue that for you as a consulting beginner, such differences in most cases do not matter. Now, what about company culture? Is McKinsey not the brainiest consulting firm and BCG the coolest one? And what about the almost proverbial Bainese? Alright guys, what do you think? When you apply for consulting jobs, will not most of you apply to all the 3 MBB consulting companies? This implies indefinitely that generally the same sort of people work at these 3 companies. Surely there are some cultural differences between these firms, but again they are marginal. Furthermore, even within a single company, company cultures can vary slightly across the different countries and even more so on the individual level. Your level of fun on a project is not determined that much by the company you work for, but the individual people you happen to work with on a project. And these individuals vary from project to project too. For this reason, I recommend you to also not base your decision which company to work for on how well you got on with the interviewers from the 3 firms, because it is very likely that you may meet these people never again. To offer you another proof that cultural differences between the firms are not that different, a couple of months after I quit my McKinsey job, I got a call from a headhunter inviting me to join BCG, and I was like, really? And an even more impressive example that company culture may be overrated. Sorry, it is a bit difficult to read. I recently came across a consulting firm partner with this professional work history. He started as a consultant at Arthur Andersen, the oldest top management consulting firm. Then joined Dröge, then Alvarez & Marsal, 2 medium-sized consulting firms. As the next step, he managed to become partner at McKinsey, only to recently join Bain as a consulting firm partner too. I'm very sure he has been doing very similar work across all firms, and company cultures did not deter him from moving from arch-rival to arch-rival on partner level. Do not get me wrong, when you write your cover letters to these firms, you need to come up with specific reasons why you want to work for them, specifically for each of the MBB firms. However, for your decision whom to actually work for, these comparatively marginal factors should not matter much. So to summarize, my first answer is going with any of these 3 firms is fantastic. Oh and yes, if you like this video and find it useful, please show your love, subscribe for further top quality content and share with whom may find this topic interesting as well. Are we done yet? No, I promise to you that I will offer you a second alternative answer to the question, which MBB consulting firm should you join? And this affects those of you who face the luxury of receiving an offer from more than one of these firms or even all 3 of them. What should you do when you are confronted with this torture of choice? Well, fortunately, this scenario does not occur too often. Recently I told you that McKinsey hires about 1% of its applicants. See here. BCG and Bain are smaller firms with a lower intake of new hires, but there may be some people who only apply to McKinsey and not the other 2 firms, given McKinsey is perceived as the most prestigious consulting firm. Anyway, I doubt the acceptance rates at BCG or Bain are higher than 1%. Apologies for getting a bit nerdy here, but the probability to receive an offer from all 3 firms still will be greater than 1% times 1% times 1%, because there also is the concept of conditional probability. If you have managed to bag a McKinsey offer, it is likely that BCG and Bain will like you too, and vice versa, because these firms are so similar. So what should you do if you need to select an offer? Should you now consider factors such as the marginal differences in entry salaries, benefits, company cultures, etc.? No. In this case, the answer is simple, and to make it very subtle here, join McKinsey. Let me tell you why. At McKinsey, you enjoy the benefits elaborated at the beginning of this video. It is the largest in size and the most prestigious MBB consulting firm. Both these features offer a number of advantages to you both as an employee and after you have left the firm. First, given that McKinsey is the largest top management consulting firm, you have the greatest variety of projects to choose from. The pool of opportunities is largest at McKinsey. Second, while you can debate regional strengths of the other two MBB consulting firms, McKinsey is present truly globally and strong everywhere, offering plenty of opportunities to work abroad. Now, this is a cultural aspect, but McKinsey is also perceived to promote cross-continental work the most compared to BCG and Bain. Third, remember you are not alone. On every project, an army of specialists supports you, from research teams, from company analytics, visual support lines to IT services. Given that McKinsey is the largest firm, it also benefits from the greatest economies of scale when setting up these life-saving internal support centers. It is well known that McKinsey offers the best suite of support services among the three companies. However, most consultants stay only for a few years of their lives in a top consulting firm. What happens once you leave? In this case, yes, you benefit the most from the prestige of your former employer, and we know about that one already. Outside of the business world, still many people have at least heard about McKinsey, fewer about BCG or Bain. Within the business world, McKinsey is viewed as the top consulting firm, and once you have been there, you have become a part of its legend yourself. Even for myself, you're aware that I enjoy and can leverage the McKinsey sunshine from time to time. Of course, work experience at any one of the major Tier 1 or Tier 2 consulting firms lends you a great reputation for your further professional career. Last but not least, you should also consider the quality and reach of the MBB alumni networks. When you leave one of these firms, it actually is easy to reach out to former colleagues of your firm to request some inside views about their new employer to potentially join their company as well. While the quality of these alumni career services and networks can be debated, again, McKinsey beats the other two by the sheer size of its alumni network. Each year, more consultants leave McKinsey than BCG or Bain. I hope you now have the answers you need. The summary is as follows. If you have received an offer from either McKinsey, BCG or Bain, go for it. If you have received an offer from more than one of these three firms, join the largest firm. If you do not, I think you have to have a very good reason for your decision. Today's video was limited to the legendary triumvirate of the MBB consulting firms. Despite their high prestige, I keep saying that there also exist many other highly attractive employers in the consulting world. If you would like to learn more about the wider consulting industry market landscape and make a decision on your own consulting career path, then I warmly invite you to check out my Management Consulting Guide online course. See the trailer here or check the video description. Now let me know, which consulting firms do you consider joining and why? Do you agree with my views presented here? Would you like to add something? Let me know in the comments. I pledge to get back to each and every one of you. Guys, thanks for having me. Like and subscribe for more top quality consulting and career advice. And see you soon.